In the 2000s, ghost stories didn't just belong to dusty history books. They were unfolding in real time, with witnesses swearing they saw the impossible. In the heart of Andalusia, Spain, lies the quiet village of Belmez de la Moraleda, a place that for centuries was known only for its olive groves and winding, sun-bleached streets. But in the summer of 1971, everything changed. It began in the kitchen of Maria Gomez Camara, a modest home with cracked cement floors and faded tiles. One morning, Maria noticed a strange stain, an eerie, human-like face staring up at her from the ground. At first, her family tried to scrub it away, but the image only grew clearer, its eyes hollow, its mouth twisted in a silent scream. Word spread quickly through the village, and soon neighbors crowded into the kitchen, whispering prayers and crossing themselves. The mayor, skeptical but curious, ordered the floor to be dug up and replaced. But within days, another face appeared, then another, each one different, some contorted in agony, others hauntingly serene. Soon, the house became a pilgrimage site. Locals and strangers alike lined up to see the so-called faces of Belmez. Some claimed to feel a chill in the air, or to hear faint whispers echoing through the kitchen at night. Maria herself was terrified. She told friends she felt watched even when alone. Her family began to sleep with the lights on, afraid of what might appear next. As the phenomenon grew, so did the theories. Some whispered that the house was built atop an ancient cemetery, its restless spirits desperate to be seen. Others believed it was a warning, a message from the beyond. But not everyone was convinced. Skeptics arrived, armed with cameras and chemicals, determined to expose a hoax. They tested the cement, scraped samples, and even sealed the kitchen for weeks. Yet the faces persisted, sometimes changing shape overnight. Paranormal investigators set up night vision cameras and audio recorders, hoping to capture evidence of the supernatural. Some claim to record strange voices, unintelligible, but chilling. One investigator, a Madrid psychologist, spent nights in the kitchen. He described sudden drops in temperature and the feeling of invisible hands brushing his arms. It was as if the house itself was alive, he later wrote. The faces became more elaborate, some showing tears, others with gaping mouths. Locals began to recognize features: a lost child, a soldier, a woman in mourning. Rumors spread that the faces matched people who had died tragically in the village. Newspapers across Spain published photographs, and soon, the world was watching. TV crews arrived, their bright lights casting long shadows in the tiny kitchen. The faces, it seemed, thrived on attention. But for every believer, there was a doubter. Chemists argued the stains were caused by moisture and household cleaning products. Artists suggested Maria or her family had painted the faces for fame or money. Yet no one could explain how the images changed, sometimes overnight, sometimes before a room full of witnesses. The faces seemed to move, to age, to weep. In the early 2000s, after Maria's death, the phenomenon was expected to fade. But in 2007, new faces appeared, sharper, more disturbing than before. Some said they saw unfamiliar figures, as if the past was reaching out to the present. The town council, wary of renewed media frenzy, tried to keep crowds away. But photos leaked online, and the debate reignited. Was this a haunting, a hoax, or something stranger? Local legends grew. Some whispered that the faces were the souls of those lost in ancient wars or victims of the Inquisition. Others believed the land itself was cursed and that the faces would never truly disappear. Tourists still visit, hoping to glimpse the supernatural. Some leave flowers or candles, treating the kitchen as a shrine. Others come to debunk, armed with skepticism and flashlights. The faces of Belmez have inspired books, documentaries, and heated debates on talk shows. Scientists, priests, and psychics have all weighed in, but the mystery endures. For the people of Belmez, the faces are more than a curiosity. They are a reminder that the past is never truly gone, and that some questions have no easy answers. Whether a centuries-old haunting or a masterclass in deception, the Belmez faces continue to draw the curious and the brave. In the flickering candlelight of Maria's kitchen, the faces still watch, and the world still wonders. December 29, 1972. Night falls over the Florida Everglades, a vast, silent wilderness. Eastern Airlines Flight 401, a Lockheed L1011 TriStar, is on final approach to Miami International Airport. On board, 176 passengers and crew, many returning home after the holidays, unaware of the fate awaiting them. In the cockpit, a small indicator light fails to illuminate. The crew, distracted by the malfunction, doesn't notice the autopilot has disconnected. The jet descends, unnoticed, toward the black waters and sawgrass below. At 11:42 p.m., Flight 401 slams into the Everglades. The impact tears the plane apart. Screams echo into the darkness, swallowed by the swamp. Metal, fire, and water mix in a chaos of confusion and terror. Survivors, dazed and injured, find themselves waist-deep in cold water, surrounded by darkness and the cries of the wounded. Some cling to floating debris, others call out for loved ones who do not answer. Rescue teams race against time, battling mud, water, and darkness. Helicopters hover overhead, their searchlights sweeping the wreckage. Airboats and swamp buggies bring help, but the Everglades are unforgiving. In the end, 101 lives are lost. 75 survive, many with severe injuries. Families wait anxiously at the airport, desperate for news. For some, hope turns to heartbreak as the list of survivors is read. The investigation begins. The National Transportation Safety Board combs through the wreckage, piecing together the final moments. Black boxes are recovered, their recordings revealing the fatal distraction in the cockpit. The crash of Flight 401 changes aviation forever. New safety protocols are introduced. Crew resource management becomes standard, ensuring pilots never lose sight of the basics, no matter the distraction. But the story of Flight 401 does not end with the investigation. In the months that follow, rumors begin to swirl among Eastern Airlines crews. Salvaged parts from the wreckage are installed in other TriStars, and soon, strange tales emerge. Flight attendants and pilots whisper about ghostly apparitions, uniformed men appearing in galleys and cockpits, vanishing when spoken to. Some recognize the faces. Captain Robert Loft and flight engineer Don Repo, both lost in the crash. Passengers report chilling encounters. A man in a pilot's cap warning of mechanical trouble, only to disappear before their eyes. In one case, a flight engineer's voice is heard over the intercom, though no one is in the cockpit. Word spreads quickly. Some flights are delayed as crew members refuse to board planes rumored to be haunted. Eastern Airlines quietly removes all salvaged parts from its fleet. But the stories persist. The legend of Flight 401 grows. Books and documentaries explore the haunting, blending fact and speculation. Paranormal investigators seek evidence, setting up cameras in hangars and cockpits, hoping to capture proof of the supernatural. Some claim to record unexplained voices, soft, urgent, and unmistakably human. Others capture fleeting shadows moving across empty cabins or cold spots that linger in the air. For the families of the victims, the hauntings are a painful echo of loss. Some find comfort in the idea that their loved ones are still present, watching over the living. Others are haunted by dreams and memories that refuse to fade. Survivors too carry scars, both physical and invisible. Some speak of feeling a presence beside them, especially when flying at night. Others avoid air travel altogether, unable to shake the memory of that night in the swamp. By the 2000s, the legend of Flight 401 has faded from headlines, but not from memory. Aviation enthusiasts and former employees share stories online, keeping the mystery alive. Sightings of Loft and Repo are reported in airport terminals, flight simulators, and museums housing salvaged equipment. Security guards describe hearing footsteps echoing through empty hangars or voices crackling over dead intercom systems. The hauntings seem less like warnings now, and more like lingering presences, bound not to a plane, but to the legacy of the disaster itself. The story of Flight 401 endures, a cautionary tale, a tragedy, and a mystery. For some, it is proof that the past never truly lets go. For others, it is a reminder that even in the age of technology, some questions remain unanswered. In the quiet hours before dawn, as planes cross the darkened sky, some say the spirits of Flight 401 are still out there, watching, waiting, and reminding us that every journey carries a story, and every story leaves a shadow. In the rolling hills of West Sussex, England, stands Arundel Castle, a fortress of stone and shadow, its towers rising above the mist for nearly 1,000 years. Through centuries of war, intrigue, and royal drama, the castle has become a magnet for legends and restless spirits. Built in the 11th century by Roger de Montgomery, Arundel has survived sieges, fires, and centuries of noble intrigue. Its ancient walls have witnessed the rise and fall of dynasties, and some say the passage of souls who never left. By day, sunlight streams through stained glass and across grand halls. But at night, the castle transforms. Shadows lengthen, and the air grows heavy with secrets. Locals whisper that Arundel is one of the most haunted places in Britain. For generations, tales of phantom knights clanking through stone corridors have chilled the blood of visitors. Some claim to hear the echo of armored footsteps or catch a glimpse of a spectral figure vanishing into the gloom. The most famous spirit is the Blue Man, a mysterious figure in a flowing cloak, seen gliding along the battlements before dissolving into thin air. Some say he is the ghost of a nobleman, wrongfully executed, doomed to wander the ramparts for eternity. In the castle's grand library, staff have reported books falling from shelves and the sudden scent of lavender, said to herald the appearance of a woman in white. She glides silently between the stacks, her face hidden by a veil, vanishing through a solid wall. In the dungeons below, visitors have felt icy hands brush their shoulders or heard the distant cries of prisoners long dead. Some refuse to enter after dark, convinced that something unseen waits in the shadows. In 2002, a team of contractors renovating the castle experienced a string of chilling encounters. One man described seeing a tall figure in armor at the end of a corridor, only for it to vanish when he blinked. Another worker watched in disbelief as his tools slid across the floor, untouched by human hands. Lights flickered, and the air grew cold, as if the castle itself was watching. The most unsettling account came from a night watchman. He swore he saw a woman in a white gown gliding through the library before disappearing into a wall. His story matched decades of similar sightings. Paranormal investigators soon arrived, armed with cameras and recorders. They documented sudden drops in temperature, strange orbs of light, and electronic voice phenomena. Muffled whispers captured in the dead of night. One investigator described feeling an invisible force tug at his coat, while another fainted after seeing a shadowy figure pass through a locked door. Their equipment malfunctioned, batteries drained, and static filled the air. Even tourists have stories. Some report feeling watched as they climb the spiral staircases or hearing faint music drifting from the empty chapel. Others snap photos only to discover ghostly faces peering from the windows. The castle grounds are no less mysterious. On foggy mornings, figures are seen wandering the gardens, then vanish as the mist lifts. Some believe these are the spirits of soldiers lost in battle, still searching for peace. Over the years, Arundel's reputation has only grown. Television crews, authors, and ghost hunters flock to its halls, hoping to capture evidence of the supernatural. Some leave with nothing but chills, others with stories they'll never forget. In recent years, a group of skeptics spent the night in the castle, determined to debunk the legends. But as midnight struck, they heard footsteps echoing in empty corridors and doors slamming shut with no one near. One skeptic, pale and shaken, admitted he saw a shadow cross the moonlit courtyard, then disappear through a locked gate. "I don't believe in ghosts," he said, "but I can't explain what I saw." Today, Arundel Castle stands as both a monument to history and a beacon for the unexplained. Its stones are steeped in legend, its halls alive with stories. Some written, some whispered, and some that defy all reason. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, one thing is certain. At Arundel Castle, the past is never truly silent. And when the night falls, you might just hear the footsteps of those who refuse to be forgotten. In the heart of South Texas, where the plains meet the slow, winding San Antonio River, stands Presidio La Bahía, a fortress of stone and memory. Its thick walls have witnessed centuries of conflict, hope, and heartbreak. Built in 1749 by Spanish soldiers, the Presidio was designed to guard the frontier and protect the nearby Mission Espiritu Santo. Over the centuries, it changed hands, from Spain to Mexico and finally to the Republic of Texas, each era leaving its mark in blood and legend. But it was during the Texas Revolution that La Bahía earned its most tragic reputation. In March 1836, after the Battle of 𝐾𝐻, more than 300 Texian prisoners were executed on these grounds by order of General Santa Anna. The massacre sent shockwaves across the young republic. Today, the Presidio's chapel still stands, its whitewashed walls a silent witness to the past. Visitors leave flowers and candles for the fallen, their flickering lights casting long shadows across the ancient stones. As night falls, the Presidio transforms. The air grows heavy, and the wind seems to carry distant cries. Locals whisper that the spirits of the slain still linger, unable to find peace. In the early 2000s, a surge of new ghost stories swept through Goliad. Security guards on patrol reported seeing uniformed soldiers marching silently along the ramparts, their faces pale and eyes fixed on some distant horizon. One guard described a chilling encounter. "I saw a man in a tattered uniform standing by the main gate. When I called out, he vanished, leaving only the scent of gunpowder in the air." Visitors, too, have felt the presence of the past. Some hear the distant beat of drums or the sharp crack of musket fire echoing across the parade ground. Others report cold spots, sudden chills, and the feeling of being watched. In one well-known account, a reenactor spending the night in the barracks awoke to find a spectral figure standing at the foot of his bed. The apparition stared for a moment, then faded into the darkness, leaving the reenactor shaken and unable to sleep. Paranormal investigators have flocked to La Bahía, armed with cameras and recorders. Many claim to capture unexplained voices, some speaking Spanish, others in English, whispering names, prayers, or pleas for help. Shadows move along the walls with no visible source. Orbs of light drift through the chapel. Some investigators report their equipment failing, batteries drained in seconds, as if the energy of the place itself resists being captured. The Presidio's museum holds artifacts from every era: rusted swords, faded uniforms, yellowed letters written by soldiers who never returned home. Some say these objects carry a charge, a lingering sadness that seeps into the air. On stormy nights, lightning flashes illuminate the fort's silhouette, and some claim to see ghostly figures pacing the ramparts, their forms outlined against the rain. The line between past and present blurs, and the living feel the weight of history pressing close. Not all spirits are soldiers. Some visitors have seen a woman in white, gliding silently through the chapel, her face hidden by a veil. Legend says she mourns a lost love, forever searching the grounds for his return. Others speak of a child's laughter echoing in empty corridors, or the sudden scent of roses where no flowers grow. Each story adds another layer to the Presidio's legend, deepening the mystery. By day, the Presidio is a place of learning. School groups tour the grounds, historians share stories, and the sun warms the ancient stones. But as dusk falls, the mood shifts. Shadows lengthen, and the fort's secrets stir. For some, the Presidio is a place of reverence, a memorial to sacrifice and resilience. For others, it is a gateway to the unknown, where the veil between worlds grows thin and the past refuses to rest. Whether you come seeking history or hauntings, Presidio La Bahía offers both. Its stones remember, its shadows whisper, and its legends endure, reminding us that some stories are never truly finished. From Spanish kitchens to Texan battlefields, from ancient castles to haunted skies, the 2000s proved that ghosts aren't just trapped in the past. Like, subscribe and turn on notifications for more stories that blur the line between history and haunting. And remember, some spirits don't fade, they wait.